pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Look over your shoulder, make sure everything clear.
How are we doing on the 28th day of August?
Not so fast.
It is approximately 2 minutes past the hour of 6.
I want it last.
How is you all doing today?
Not so fast. No come so
It is really, really hot, man. You just need to stay hydrated today. It is extremely warm on the outside. I am all cool on the inside at this time. But for those of us who are in the city and other parts of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique,
she say, young man, try and understand
it was really hot, man.
my particular woman. This fancy ride, treat it with pride. Stop acting like a hooligan. She tell me take it easy, take it slow. No need to rush, I want you know. Hear how the engine puckering. You humming, you humming, you humming, you humming. Check out the interior, the seat cover.
I want to play that song in the Prime Minister vehicle right now.
Tenderly.
Play that song in the PM vehicle.
No, no, not so fast. Don't come so fast. I want
To the persons on my Facebook and YouTube page, good afternoon.
don't come so fast.
Big up the people at Notting Hill Carnival out there in London.
Mira, look over your shoulder.
The persons in Canada who are celebrating Grenada Day over the weekend.
When you're coming, you're coming, you're coming.
Go ahead, share the live right now.
Not so
Let them know that the class is in session.
fast. I want it last. No, no,
Yeah, continue to dance, no see that.
no, no, no.
We had to play that song in a particular vehicle in Grenada, boy.
No.
Take a little time now. Look over all your shoulder. But you're coming.
I tell Miss Daisy, I'm very sorry. I just don't know what overcoming me. I've been driving since I touched in, but you think just have me bagged. As soon as I enter and mash the clutch, the sensation was just too much. The emotion just take over.
Go ahead and share it live right now, ladies and gentlemen.
I started riding right now.
Let them know Royalty James is on.
Now where she said no, you can't come so no.
No, not so fast. Oh, not so fast. That one did last.
No, not so fast. Don't come so fast. I want it last.
Torah.
Check your mirror,
Torah.
shoulder. Make sure everything clear.
Good afternoon, Torah.
You're coming, you're coming, you're coming. No, not so fast. Don't come so fast. I want it last. She said.
I know some persons will enjoy that song this afternoon. So I wanted to play before I start the man. Okay, Leah, I hear you.
No.
So go ahead, share the live right now. Let them know Royalty James is on. The class is in session.
No. She tell me, don't come so fast.
Good evening, Marilyn Ferguson.
Don't come so fast.
How are you doing this evening?
Come so fast. Don't come so fast.
Don't come so fast, now, man.
Come so fast.
Take a little time and drive.
Don't come so fast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, so we are back for another, well, not our regular evening. It is Monday. But to be honest with you guys, so many things have happened within the past few days. I was like, yo, I can't wait until Tuesday, right? I can't wait until Tuesday. I had to do the program today, all right? So I'll give you a little rest tomorrow, please the Lord. But today, tomorrow, today. For those of you all who are accustomed with the Facebook funny kind of guy who was speaking through that window. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to start this evening in saying kudos. All right. I want to say kudos to two of our, one being a parliamentary rep and a senator, right, in that of Mr. Nolan Cox and Miss Kate Lewis, right, in the gesture made over the weekend in terms of the distribution of school items. We would have seen they would have had a wonderful time out there in the different areas. Mr. Cox being in Carriacou and Miss Lewis being out there in her constituency. All right. Even for us guys, we not looking too bad. Even today, I must say I would have collected some items today. Some items was collected today, as it relates to our, our little drive that we intend to do. So we are well on our way as it relates to, gathering stuff and so on for our own little distributions. All right. But we want to say congratulations to, Miss Lewis, not congratulations, but kudos on the initiative that has been taken by you guys. All right. Sticking on a serious note, over the weekend, we would have seen an individual taking it to his live Facebook page as it relates to a young lady who basically was caught in the correct time. She was attempting to commit suicide, and so it was because of an early morning fisherman. All right. He would have seen her and he would have rendered his assistance in speaking to her, and I guess he would have gotten her down from the area in which he was attempting to commit suicide. And so it is really now a more call for concern, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the serious side of it. All right. And we're hearing a lot of our young people. I can't put my finger on nothing else as it relates to what could be the cause of this. I mean, depression is serious, ladies and gentlemen. Depression is serious, and we need to take this in a serious aspect. You sometimes you just need to talk to somebody, right? You just need to talk to somebody, and I want to say I'm happy of the many persons I am seeing that are making a contribution in terms of the back to school drive, because and as I said last week, people, there are many of our parents, especially young people, who are out of a job and they are actually attempting to send their kids back to school, and I'm telling you, it is tough. That is the only word I could use, right? It is really tough, and some persons are bending over backwards and continuing to attempt to get that happening for them. Some are more hitting roadblocks more than anything else, and we're just like a few days away from the reopening of school. And our young people now is not like before, when our grandparents and our parents didn't mind they giving you the bag from last term, or maybe your sister bag that she didn't damage, and they give it a too little, so maybe the school pants that your brother used now that he has passed to go to secondary school. Maybe they before, our parents was not that poor proud, as we say. You understand me? To get that opportunity, and even children understood. Right? Nowadays, young people don't have that fortitude. They don't have that mental strength, ladies and gentlemen, that our foreparents had. And that's the truth about it. Because my mother would banshee belly and say, listen to me, that pants, I just bringing up the hemming. Right? All right, I'll do that. My mother would say, listen to me, you see that pants? I'm bringing up the hemming a little bit, and you're going back to school with that. Right? My mother would say to me, okay, Londa would get a new bag, but you would get the bag that she used to use because Londa didn't damage her bag. Richard, so that level, it was understood. But I'm telling you now, the curriculum changes so fast that now you would have 2-3 children, one after the other, and it is hard, it is difficult to even have the books for them to go, to go up. And those people, right, that are in this vulnerable position, remember, some of them are in the school book program. And you know what have been said in recent days as it relates to the school books and the conditions. And based on the conditions, they may not be able to bring it back and so on. But we know what happens in homes. Sometimes the child didn't damage the book, but they have a younger sibling who might have just torn a page. Right? And the fact of the matter is, the parent has no other means, no other way. They had the opportunity to give the little $25 and get 6 and 7 books. Right? The little voucher still made them in a kind of way, 2 shorts and a pants and maybe a little $20 shoes in tongue or something. Right? So I'm telling you, the ability now to be able to get your kids back to school for those that are in a really vulnerable position, it is difficult. I am not rich myself, right? And I can tell you the little that I had and my expenditure. I am imagining how some parents are doing it, right? So depression and those things are going to come about to young people who have to make it, right? The young people who would have they're just there now. So we're going to hear more of this depression. And people, I would implore of you, neighbors and friends, and especially young people within your community, and a young man or a young lady, she has never been drinking, he has never been smoking, and you see them doing that. It's nothing wrong in catching them right there. This is the embryo right there, because if you never used to see them doing that, it is nothing wrong in reaching out to them. Because at the end of the day, sometimes the crowd that they're gathering with, they're basically amalgamating themselves in the same bad energy, which makes it even more difficult. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to say that I am hoping that this young lady would be spoken to, the young one, over the weekend, and so she would find some form of counseling, and then she would be able to recover from this. All right. Somebody saying I gave out some. And people is still hitting me up. It was not enough, right? So you see how it is, right? There is a lot of people that really do need, all right? So let's get into the meat of the matter. You know what our conversations are usually, sometimes we throw those ideas and advices, but we conversation is more politically driven when it comes to this. Now, listen to me. I don't sugarcoating it today. I'm not sugarcoating it today. No. I don't know how many of you all, and there might be some of you all that are older than me. No, I would have served as a police officer for 12 years, 8 of which I was at the traffic department. So I had first-hand information as it relates to accident and accident states. Now, I cannot find no other reasoning why on this second occasion that the state vehicle is in a vehicular accident. Now, at the end of the day, when you put a state official inside of a state vehicle, his or her safety is of paramount importance. Therefore, it means that the person behind the steering wheel must be somebody whom, and I must say, who is trained enough to do such driving. Now, we know accidents are not foreseen, right? But they are defensive driving, ladies and gentlemen, right? The first accident that would have happened, it was mentioned that the vehicles that was involved in the accident was parked vehicles. So it means that an individual or individuals who were driving collided with vehicles that was not moving. That was the first accident. Now, this morning's accident, again, and having the little training that I have, listen to me, when you're moving with the state vehicle, if it's not an emergency or for emergency purpose, or with a state official, and I've always said this, even while Dr. Mitchell was in power, the state vehicle is not to run errands. The first one, it was mentioned that the Prime Minister was in the vehicle. Up to now, that has not been yet confirmed. Now, I don't understand why the state vehicle, because the Prime Minister ministry, that's a ministry. So it means that vehicle, that area or the security must have errand vehicles. You cannot say to me PM1 or PM2 is in town picking up some documents for the Prime Minister. That don't make any sense. And not today are saying that. Those vehicles, PM1 and PM2, ought to be packed in an area only when the Prime Minister is in the vehicle or the state official is in the vehicle. You move that vehicle. You don't see the GG's vehicle with the crown at the front driving around town and picking up items, because that is a state vehicle that moves only when she's in the vehicle. You can't continue to have the state business to be done and you're using this vehicle. But the thing about it, to be honest, Carla, it used to happen with Dr. Mitchell. I've seen it. I used to be wrong tongue. Some of them, the guys come and they want to pick up something by the mall. Some of them are on duty, and I'm seeing them. And I've always been against this, because at the end of the day, incidents like this is going to happen. Incidents like this is going to happen. When the Prime Minister is not in the vehicle should be parked in an area until it is moving with the Prime Minister. I mean, in the first incident, it was said he was going in Parliament, whatever. Up to now, this is still a mystery. We don't even know what happened in that incident. Right? Nobody's rejoicing over the vehicle being in an accident. But at the end of the day, this is 3 months? When the last one happened? It is less than 3 or 4 months since the first vehicle was in an accident. So you can't say to me that this is making any sense, ladies and gentlemen. This is not making any sense. There is some useless spending that continues to happen in this state, ladies and gentlemen. And if not dealt with immediately, I don't know when it will be dealt with. This there is the second occasion. This is the second occasion. Is it the driver? Is it the driver? Because I'm doubting it's the same driver. So are we saying that there is a number of incompetent drivers? Come on. A meeting should be held by somebody need to leave around it. Or we need to give them a defensive driving course. All right? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm moving on because I don't late. All right? I don't lead, but I want to address the other issue real quick and fast. Class, before we go on, a little humor. I want to say, I don't know. Let's make the agreement now. Are we going to I want to know from members of the class, because I would have had word with him. So I told him documentations will reach to him. All right. I want to know whether or not we are going to sue the Dr. Mitchell for this.
But some people say, Mr. Speaker, I always say that sometimes when you get sweet, you say anything. I don't know. I don't do that. I don't, Mr. Speaker, I do not do that. When I get sweet, I behave in my best gentleman's way. So I just want everybody to...
So as a classroom, I want to know whether or not we are going to, because this comes from the classroom. This comes from the classroom, but that is Dr. Mitchell and the person that the individual is, and we want to ensure that we continue to say this. You understand me? Even the government side found the humor about it. And you see, that is being yourself. That is what you call authenticity. This is not fake. You understand me? That's him. That is him as an individual. He would always, in his most serious moments, still find a way to bring across a little humor, right? And I just said I need to play that because we need to charge Dr. Mitchell for that. Dr. Mitchell can't use it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the serious side of things again. Now, and let me say this before I continue. You understand me? Somebody saying Doc is paying attention in class. Yeah, that's good. That is good. All right. Now, before I play my next clip, I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if this present administration is going to be defended on everything with very little or no reasoning on the backs of the mere fact that you support the administration, so anything they do to you is right. It is frightening, ladies and gentlemen. It is frightening because, and I zero this to the conversation as it relates to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen this.
We have had lots of low-class people with access to social media who feel Mount Royal is fit for a prime minister to reside in as it is. You should ask the government to let you stay there because it is vacant now. That place has for years outlived its usefulness. Has any of you who are today talking about the current Prime Minister's decision to not relocate to that Labast, overlooking Darbo, Mount Rush, River Road, Queen's Park, taking an objective look at it to see if you have a dog, that you really love, that you would allow to live there right now as it is? What obtained prior to June 23rd, 2022 may have been suited for that place. But since the commencement of transformation, it is obsolete.
Every time I think of you,
Ladies and gentlemen, I just jump on the conversation when I realized that the people that are expected to have some form of intellect bring themselves to a level of dotishness on the basis of political favoritism. Now, the Prime Minister's residence speaks for itself. When you say something and you mention, this is the Prime Minister's residence. This for itself, I mean, there is no question to be asked after saying this is the Prime Minister's residence. If the Prime Minister believes that the living condition at an area is not in his favor and chooses to live somewhere else for some time while the area is being renovated, is understood. But take it to mean that he leaves the residence of, or what should be the Prime Minister's residence, goes to a place while renting on the state's purse, that alone rings a bell. So in a place, imagine you build a place and you're going on rent. You have your place to live. That is your building. That is yours. That is yours. You have to pay nothing else for there. That is yours. But you live there and you go on rent. Now, what level of justification to just the normal man, not an educated man, you know, to the normal average man would never use such judgment for persons to not say to him, but you're stupid, or girl, you're dotish, you are your house and you're renting. If any normal individual does that, the immediate assessment of that individual would be that this person, something is wrong with them. They're stupid or something. Now, you mentioned overlooking Dabo and River Road. So the Prime Minister living in that area should not be in an area to overlook such elegance. Rather to that, he lives in an area where he does not see anybody. So you are agreeing that where the Prime Minister is now, and even a dog can't live there. But even if something is being transformated, the fact of the matter is, if he is renovating the area, this is where transformation comes in. Because that's what transformation is. Transformation is to change one's condition that was to what is now, or with the advancement to make it better. So when you speak as it relates to the transformation, I am expecting that the Prime Minister do some form of grant or some loan to renovate the area. So let us see the transformation in him wanting to make the Prime Minister's residence a place for living. So take it to mean that he lose the next election. The next Prime Minister, I guess, would have to go and do what? Rent too? I mean, the utter nonsense that is spilled from people who are expected to be intelligent in this state for the purpose of political favoritism, it is mind-boggling. Because how can you make such justification for the purpose of what? Just to say what? The Prime Minister's residence is the Prime Minister's residence. At the end of the day, we had a damage of the Parliament building, right? And there was a place housing the area for Parliament for some time. Therefore, one was constructed. And that is because it was damaged. The Parliament building was damaged. So too the Governor General residence. And so she had to relocate. So whatever living conditions that presently exist in the Prime Minister's residence, or that was there before June 23rd, that was being accepted, if it is not accepted now, the expectation is that you create the avenue that the Prime Minister's living condition be met, and not going and spend money for months and years on the state's purse to live somewhere else. What do we use as a justification? How do we understand the concept in which we are supposed to think on a normal basis? If a normal man does that, you're saying, but you're stupid. That you leave a place provided for you to live. How bad of the living condition can the Prime Minister's residence be when the past Prime Minister was living in it? Now take it to mean that he was so bad, right? However, Dr. Mitchell left. He had a residence in Appeal. He had his house. He went so further. He bought a house in Victoria. His personal space. But the Prime Minister at present didn't leave and go and live in his house. He's not living in his house. You understand me? He's renting. So what is the justification? That you are agreeing that the Prime Minister spent months or years in an area renting while there is no renovation going on? I am not saying that the living condition is what he would accept. But the expectation is that by now, after spending so much hototoa money, we are now expecting that some form of renovation needs to be happening there. I am not saying that the Prime Minister has to accept the living condition. No. We know he's a man of class. So what is expected is that some form of grant or loan be taken or approved, that there is a renovation that should take place there. So what are we saying? What are we agreeing to? Because when Dr. Mitchell was not at the Prime Minister's residence, he was at his residence. He wasn't renting somewhere else. He was living at him when he's not at the Prime Minister's residence. But now we accept the fact that, so where the Prime Minister was living before? Where was the Prime Minister living before he became Prime Minister? That is what you have to ask yourself. Why can he not go to his residence? Because at the end of the day, the area the Prime Minister's residence, most of the times when Dr. Mitchell has to be there, he has a business in town, he has a meeting coming up, he would have had a long evening, and so he goes to the residence to rest. Nobody's asking a Prime Minister to remain there wholly and solely. Because Dr. Mitchell was at Happy Hill on some days, he was in Victoria, and sometimes he had the resident, renting absolutely nowhere else. But now we are here agreeing that the condition is so bad, and we are agreeing that the present Prime Minister should rent a place. What are we accepting? You feel Dr. Mitchell could have do that? You feel Dr. Mitchell could have rent a house in town in the same manner and say up there no good for him? You feel Tillman Thomas could not have done it? And other prime ministers and so on could not have done it? He have dilapidated through the years, and so we know that. And it was called for renovation. And the expectations is that the present Prime Minister, if the living condition is bad, is that you seek some form of funding and you renovate it. Because the months of spending for renting that is taking place wherever he is at now, I am sure by the time he leaves, can accumulate to make whatever level of renovation, even if it's 30% of it. You cannot just accept things on political favoritism and agree to everything and what? If there is a form of transformation, what I want to see now is that this Prime Minister go and he may put a pool up there. He make the thing so nice. Somebody said, Che say yes, spirit up there. So we bring Pastor King to pray out through. Or bring the gentleman from St. Vincent. Because, I mean, I know the NDC have a special deliverer. You can't accept things on the mere basis. You can't. It's not that the individual is spending his, and even if you can agree to that, on what level? Come on. I'm not saying that the living condition is one he would accept. And he have not been there more than a year. And so, if I'm seeing some form of renovation or reconstructing taking place, I could say, okay, when he's renting, he would move up there in a while because the place he's trying to make it for he to leave. But the man is not doing anything. You're not hearing anything about the Prime Minister's residence. This is the state's property. They Grenada own. They're not something that NNP chose or NDC chose. How long has this area been designated the Prime Minister's residence? And we know definitely, look at it, the Parliament building went down for years. And so you heard many conversations from the NNP as it relates to wanting to find place to put a new Parliament building. And today, for years and years, after grants and loans and jobs, and we are now boasting we have a Parliament building. That is understood. But you're not speaking nothing about the Parliament building. You take up and you just go and rent a place. You're not saying, well, okay, I'm in conversations to have the Prime Minister's residence renovated to an upliving or a better living condition. You are persons, and here I wonder, like, here he start. Here they start, they nice, here he start.
I've had lots of low-class people with access to social media.
You see how we look at each other based on political conversations? You see the vision of individuals on a basis of me and you not being on the same terms, or I'm not speaking what you're speaking, and so simply that make me low class. You understand? You understand the level? That is what you call educated jackass in lion skin. You're full with the education, full of understanding and intellect. But the mere concept of understanding the common sense to be exhibited is so far from you and your mental concept and condition, it is heartbroken. Because I'm not expecting this from a man who we expect to have a level of intellect. You understand me? People gonna call him all kind of thing, and I tell all of my program I don't do that. I deal with a situation as it relates to what the topic is. I am disgusted on what he said there. I have no hatred against him. See him tomorrow, I call him. Don't want to answer, that's his business. And that's what I was telling him. I deal with the situation that is at hand. Not your personal life. And no persons jump up on people's personal life. You understand me? And this is where I focus or concentrate my conversation on. Facts. Is this accepted? Should this be accepted? Would it have been accepted by Dr. Mitchell if he did it? Would it be accepted by Thielman Thomas? Would have been accepted by whomever else? Can't be on the concept because of what? Political favoritism. I'm going to nobody's personal life. I deal with the situation that is at hand. If this statement there is no more foolish than any other statements that I've already made, this one is the worst. Can't agree to something like that. You agree to disagree. Say, the Prime Minister can live down there because he's, in the process of renovating. Agreement and low class. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So we move on. We move on to more conversations because I tell you nowadays when I come, I give the facts and then I elaborate on them. Now, I want us to understand a concept because, sometimes, and you see, you can't always believe, you understand? You can't always believe everybody's on the same conversation and level with you, right? Now, people, before I play the next clip, I want to explain what a supplementary budget is. You understand me? A supplementary budget is a budget that provides additional funding for an activity or area that was not sufficiently covered in a regular budget. Now, we would have had conversations in recent days as it relates to a $148 million that government was seeking or seek approval for. Now, this whole conversation is so confusing that you have to ask yourself whether or not these people do actually meet and converse on conversations. Right? And what I'm about to read now, actually, I took it from my dear friend again, Carla Walcott, right? Who have a few questions that are pertinent questions, right? She said, good morning, Bookers. In the parliament on Friday, the government sought to authorization to borrow $100 million from Saudi Arabia. She's saying that I have some questions. Based on the clip below, what happened to the grants? That's the clip right here.
Finalized between Grenada and the Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell said an agreement will soon be finalized between Grenada and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. On Thursday, the Prime Minister welcomed a delegation from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia led by His Excellency Ahmed Al Khatib, Chairman of the Board of Directors and Minister of Tourism. Discussions were centered around the provision of support for the Saudi Fund for Development of Grenada through the Climate Smart Infrastructure Program, which seeks to address Grenada's susceptibility to extreme weather conditions and the associated challenges of flooding and infrastructure vulnerabilities, particularly along our coastlines.
I think it's just a question of finalizing the paperwork. Ideally for us, we would want it to be $100 million in grant funding. That may not be the case. It might be a combination of grant and loan, but obviously we would be pushing as much as possible to make it grant funding. But if it's not totally grant, you still need the funding, and obviously we would look for very, very concessional loan terms. So that's really the part of it that I think we will be finalizing on the next visit by the delegation. So ideally, we expect in the not too distant future that we can have a formal announcement that the agreement has been concluded, and we can begin to have the discussions with the public about what the projects entail, so that we can get the consultation, the buy-in, etc. from the public on it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was question number 1. And based on the clip that you're hearing, she's asking, based on the clip below, what is it about the grant? What happened to the grant? Because we had conversation there about grants and loans and how much they were wanting to get to that, right? Our second question says, what happened to the 350 million EC dollars that was the EC loan authorization you sought when you presented the 2023 budget? A very important question. But we get into that. With the CBI and tax money you claim to be making, why borrow? She goes on to say, Deacon Mitchell, for your first budget year, you're seeking to borrow over $2 million US in 1 year. She ended by saying what I would say, are you good with? Ladies and gentlemen, there is no way to sugarcoat this. And I actually have the actual excerpt from the sitting from Friday. Now, listen contradiction, and I want to read those contradictions so you would understand. Prime Minister's words: authorization to borrow is not borrowing. Our law requires that if we are going to borrow, or in the event we are thinking about borrowing, it will make good sense for us to get approval, rather than borrow, then come to seek approval. So let me make it clear, for the Saudi Development Fund loan, there is no loan as yet, and there is no signed loan agreement as yet. And it goes on to say he informed the members of the House of Parliament during the sitting on Friday. Listen what contradicts what he's saying. Right? The resolution presented by the Finance Minister, Dennis Cornwall, explained that the government of Grenada is desirous of entering into a loan agreement with the Saudi Fund for Development for Financial Climate Smart Infrastructure project that addresses Grenada resilience. The project is looking to mitigate an adaptation measure to harmfully affects our climate change on some of the island's urban, rural, and major tourism sites, including seacoasts and beaches. Authorization to borrow is not borrowing. Listen to those words again. Government is desirous of entering into a loan. So the Prime Minister is saying, we want to borrow. We feel like, I find I go borrow. That's the intention. The Finance Minister is saying, we are desirous, which gives a more sound. You know, because I could feel like, nah man, I'm thinking about borrowing, I don't want to borrow. But the Finance Minister is saying, yeah man, we want to borrow, we intend to borrow because this is what we're trying to do. But however, the Prime Minister is saying, here what we're trying to do. We are trying to get the approval from Parliament. So we're trying for Parliament to say, yes, we can take a loan. The conditions of the loan is not yet known. So when Parliament approves that loan, right, whenever the loan comes or whenever they want to apply, remember the approval is already there. So when the approval is there, whatever loan that comes, and with whatever condition, and you have to take it. Let me try to make sense out of nonsense. Because you already have the approval. You don't know the loan condition, and that is why sometimes countries would want to first know loan conditions before approval. You cannot ask the Parliament to give you an approval for something in which you don't know yet what the conditions are. I mean, that's so dunce. Because you are seeking an approval. When you are saying that the debt to GDP ratio, you're looking at it also, because that is also mentioned here. Right? Because he mentioned further that they are looking at the debt to GDP ratio. And so they're being careful on taking loans. But so you're seeking an approval for a loan. So the question here stands, Mr. Prime Minister, when you apply for the loan now, or if you get the loan and it is already approved from Parliament, what are you coming back and tell the Parliament? Oh, you don't want the approval again? Because of the condition of the loan? That is not how it works. Because in order to seek the approval for something, I have to know I want a loan. What is the condition of the loan? I want to know, I'm going to apply for a loan. I want to know what are the conditions of the loan. Can I meet the loan and it's definite? Can I say, can I meet that loan? I must first know, I have to know the condition. GDP, they have in mind too, GDP. You ought to know first. I cannot tell me more. Listen to me. Or my father, I want you to secure a loan for me. And when I get the approval, or whatever it might be, I might want to go and find out what is the conditions of the loan. No. So you get an approval from Parliament to take a loan. And then you come back and say, well, based on how the loan and its benefits or what they bring to you, you may not take it when you already have the approval. I'm trying to make people look stupid, eh? Stop trying to make people look stupid. You all had your conversation about taking the loans. The conversation is there. So the $148 million, based on what they're saying here, is to ensure that they address the resilience. The projects looks to mitigate the adoption measures, harmful effects, and so on. So let me go past that. You will take a supplementary budget at the end of the year. Remember, those conditions in which the loan is taken for is to help what? Mitigate and adaptation measures to harmful effects of climate change on some of the islands, urban, rural, and major tourism sites, including the sea coast and beaches. Now, we are presently in when? Isn't this the rain season? The wet season? I mean, come on. Aren't we not into these levels? No. So I believe if you wanted to make that supplementary application or that application for that supplementary budget should have made some of them around June. Or maybe June, July, maybe May. Because, I mean, this is the time, definitely when, we maybe have, little things that we might have to fix the sea and that's when most of the time we're affected by those areas. But remember, again, this is the second loan authorization resolution sought by the government. Remember an authorization of $315 million to finance the 2023 budget was taking place in December. The next budget is being read in December. 4 months away. And we jump on a supplementary budget again to want to borrow. Papa, come and tell the people you don't have money, no. I better you just do the budget now. Better you just do the budget now. You don't have. Because that the purpose for that loan or you want to take the approval you are looking, that don't make any sense. And you're going to inform the public about the look at that little money there now. Bambai go tell Pampalam again. More travel. Pampalam pam again. Prime Minister leaving the state on weekends to go and have what official meeting? You know lime? That's what you want the loan money go low. Tell us that we might give all your blight. All your maths do maths in. And you all are making too much of this application. Right? This is the most 1 year with 8 months into your budget speech. Eh? And what you see, you don't make it, what you want the loan for, the supplementary budget, it don't make any sense like that. I mean, I understood last year when they spoke about the supplementary budget was to help aid the same seed program. That is understood. Somebody saying 7.5 million for 50th, the 50th independence celebration. I really want to see the costing of all that. 2 million in 1 year. And you see, they don't want you to speak. And that is what hurts the National Democratic Congress supporters the most. They don't want you to say nothing. You see that heat wave that going around there now? Dr. Mitchell in power, he that caused it. They say Dr. Kid had the place hot. He go in Haiti and he do something, and persons are talking about you mentioned a nice earning from CBI. So what is the purpose? What is the purpose? Alone not making sense. You just get money. Just get money. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we learned nothing is concrete as yet. Right? Nothing is concrete as yet, but we have heard a serious reshuffling of permanent secretaries within the different ministries. People in my years of understanding politics, you don't move. You can't tell me you're moving PS so often. PS doesn't move so. PS is a set of people that have spent 5 and 10 years within certain ministries. PS don't move so often. What is going on? Pull us on the side, NDC, and tell us what really going on. Don't bring nobody here. Tell me as. Why from since last year, a set of PS every minute, a new PS in some way? What is going on? Your permanent secretary is basically your foundation in any ministry. Your PS job or his or her role is of serious dominance within any ministry. Your PS plays an integral part in the engineering of any ministry. So why the regular shuffling every minute? You hearing some rumor, and I'm saying rumor because I don't hear nothing concrete as yet. So what is going on? PS moving here, PS moving there, everybody. PS. Again, we hope we hope that things will become better in terms of that, right? We hope that would soon change. All right, we moving on. We winding down. People, there is an electronic voucher. If you go on the Ministry of Education page, there is a tutorial which gives the instructions as to how you use your electronic voucher. It could not have been more on the 99.9 hour. However, to the persons who are going to benefit from it, I think the tutorial is on the Ministry of Education page, where you receive a text message, and so it would come in the form of a QR code, and so you can either screenshot it or you can maybe, I think it's screenshot, or you can take a picture of it or something like that. But however, this is what gives you the opportunity to be able to obtain your voucher, right? They're stating also that if you would have applied and you realize that you did not get a text message, you can call the Ministry of Education to find out whether or not it has been approved. All right. That in itself is humorous because if I don't see a message come, then I know definitely I wasn't chosen. But however, they stated that you can call in to make inquiries. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is one of the things that I always mention to this administration. If pro protocol was a person or an institution, it would be the National Democratic Congress. Right? They're very poor. Very poor. Very, very, I don't know, they're slow. That's what I want to say. Right? You can't say on this 99th hour, and what are you going to give some people to do? All right? We would have had an outage today also. I hope nobody did not get anything that, suffered from any spoiled goods or anything like that. I pray that everything in your stove or in your oven, your fridge. I really didn't talk it. In your fridge, sorry, was in good condition, and I think they have rectified that issue. So I hope everybody would have been able to kind of battle it. It's not often it happens, so I want to commend Grenlec on a somewhat speedy, restoration. And it happens. It happens. Man-made stuff would sometimes fail. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we would have had a wonderful day. And so as we wind down with only 2 minutes to go, don't forget On Point Foundation in Co-op, they are doing a back-to-school drive to assist schools in Grenada, and all charitable donations are welcome. Please call Cathy on 347-262-6818. G-Buggers, they're located on Wall Street in the Grandans, and so you can go there and be able to get yourself a lovely burger. All right, Teresa Colimo, if you're still in Grenada, I want you to take the opportunity to go down to G Burgers and get yourself a burger. If not, you can call somebody and let them know that you were listening to the Classroom program, and so you're giving that person that burger. You can call them on 536-7375. So, Teresa Colimo, you are the person selected to go enjoy a burger down at G Burgers. They're located on Wall Street. The burger of the day is the double beef burger. It is 2 layers of quarter-pound beef, served with onion, lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and diced pickles and dressing. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, it was another wonderful evening to be here with you guys. God's blessings to each and every one of you. We are going to see again on Wednesday. Tomorrow, the area that I usually broadcast in will be used for some other purpose. So definitely we would be back on Wednesday. Don't forget, we continue in our drive. Tora, I know for a fact I have to go collect that stuff. I haven't done it as yet, but my collections start tomorrow. Right, so persons, I would contact you. You can contact me. Don't forget, you can reach out to Marilyn Ferguson on Facebook, or Brother Nimrod Olivier, right? And you can communicate with him. We're trying our very best not to do much financial. We don't want to have too much money, right? So if you do have the items, or as I say, the persons in the diaspora, if you can call a family member and send the monies to them and they can purchase for us. We don't want to have the money to go and buy, right? And so we want the items to be distributed. As I said, we would have collected some items today. I would have collected some items today. And so we continue to try to get what we can. And whatever it is that we have, we're going to make it do, and we're going to try to see how we can make some children or some. And mind you, I know Brother Nimrod did mention that he has some bags, right? Exactly, Dale. Accountability, right? He has some bags, right? I think he said about 12. And so what we would want to do is persons in your area, and we want you to be genuine about it. if you do know one family member in your area, one, we want to do the sharing, but we want to give out at least 6 bags with some items in it, right? For some special children. If you really know of anybody, shoot me a message, shoot any one of them a message. You understand? So you can contact Miss Ferguson on 444-9856, right? So that's 444-9856, right? But if you know about, we were trying to identify at least 5 to 6 students, do a different kind of bag for them, right? On what we're doing on Friday or Saturday, we just want to see some children and hand them whatever it might be, a notebook, a pencil, or something like that. But we want to do a special baggage for at least 6 children. So if you're in an area and you know of a family member that is really in need of, please contact me or Miss Marilyn Ferguson or maybe Mr. Nimrod, right? We just want to identify 6 individuals. You understand me? If you know of the conditions and it is extremely genuine, please reach out to me and just let me know, like, you know, we could just do a special bag for them. Because I know some persons that are trying to, you know, give as much as they can. And so whatever they give, they say they have coloring books and so on, right? We could take that and put it together and give to, you know, that child. All right? We want to do that on the behalf of the classroom, right? There are other persons who are doing the initiative, and we know that they really can't join us. But however, we want to say the persons that are giving or who have been giving already, we want to say thank you so very much. All right. So we will continue the drive up until about Wednesday, Thursday. And once we get the items together, you will see photographs posted as it relates to what was done. All right. So feel free to contact any one of us. And God's blessing to you guys. It's hot out there. Please, please stay hydrated, right? And the kids especially, if you're going to town with them during the week, it's important that you ensure that you have your water and so on and so forth. All right, be safe. Remember, your money's people. You might be coming to town with an elaborate amount of cash because you're coming to maybe buy $500, $600, $700. Some people $1,000 based on finally getting a little money that they were waiting on, right? Try to protect your cash. There are some vultures that are going to be wrong tongue, right? Your items, try to pay attention to your items. Don't just rest down bag and turn all your back, right? There are persons who are in desperate situations, all right? Do share the live, as Carla would have stated, do share the live, and even if you don't see it now, you can always go look at it again. Again, I'm saying to you, protect your items for this week. There are some people who, and as I said to you earlier on in the show, they're going to be desperate people. There are people that really can't. And so they may see a bag on the ground or see you rest your bag there and they go pick up and walk with it because it's notebooks and so on. So the children get through. Your cash, right? If you know you're going into a store and you're going to buy a pants, the pants is $60. If you have your money or your stash or your how much money, try to at least before you enter the store, take out the $100, take out the $60, right? And don't go and play big shot and opening purse with how much money in bag. You understand me? It's important, people. As I said just before, around carnival time, I watched a lady cry in front of a store for that same thing. Her money and she don't know where she rested down and she put it in some bag and you understand me? So it is important. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we will see again on Wednesday. God's blessings to each and every one of you. And have yourself a wonderful evening. All right.
particular woman. This fancy ride, treat it with pride. Stop acting like a hooligan. She tell me take it easy, take it slow. No need to rush. I want